Wow, that was weird. I tried to get started and all of a sudden YouTube said live streaming's not available right now. And I'm like, well, that's kind of weird. So hopefully this stays intact and we don't have any dramas. Guess we'll find out. Anyway, we're carrying on from last night. I'm just going to put this back together because I try hard not to have too many disassembled machines floating around in my workshop. So we'll get this one back together and carry on from there. Hey, MC Rams. Actually been a while since I've seen you around here. Greg, Hughes. Let's see. And I've put that other board that we were working on last night, I've put that into the donor pile. Bit of a shame. I guess this is the way it goes. I mean, they are starting to get a little bit old, these 1706s. But they are a nice machine for the fact that if things go wrong, you still actually do have that data recovery option through the lifeboat. And then from here we went T2 and everything just became impossible. This chassis has been through hell. All the connectors are gunked up. Got some really nasty looking liquid damage on them. Hey Pedro. Hey there dog. Draco. Okay, let's have a look at these connectors, see if I can clean them up or whether they're just permanently tarnished. Better adjust that stupid microscope camera. Because unfortunately, in spite of paying a considerable amount of money, this camera has an awful light sensitivity. Oh. I mean, I could sell it off to someone else, but yeah, I mean, look at this. This is just like Puke Fest Central. So we're gonna need some we're gonna need some liquid mix on this one now, some water. Ordinary water. Might throw some LSD in there as well to liven things up. I think this is a coffee damaged machine from way back and I never really bothered to fully clean it. It was like, oh yeah, works well enough. Proceed. Oh look at that, I don't even have a microphone on that one. Joy. Those ones look okay. Alright. We don't need a microphone anyway. Yeah, definitely coffee damage. Not my coffee damage. It wasn't me that did it. It was just, that's how the machine arrived. I think it was a no fix. And the person basically just said, here, you can have it. And I managed to revive it enough that it could be used for me. It's not something I would ever sell. Yeah, if you just take ordinary water, it can be very inspirational if you add a little LSD. That's a reference to Futurama, by the way, in case people are wondering. Oops. It's the episode where Bender wants to become a chef and he goes and competes on the Iron Chef. But he has no sense of taste. Christensen, we'll say you're the unwell one right now. I'm perfectly normal. Oh, Draco, you can't stand the taste of coffee. Do you find that people pick on you for that? Yeah, because you don't conform with social norms. People sort of try to convince you that you really should like coffee and that maybe you just simply haven't had the right coffee to convince you that it should be what you like. I find that very annoying when people do that. So they presume that you have not tried multiple things or that you haven't gone through this process 1,000 times before. It's like they expect that you've only ever drank instant coffee all your life. Q's, yeah, well, this isn't my old mat, this is another new one. But yeah, I was getting sick of the bobbling up and I didn't want to have to use additional things to try and compensate for it or anything like that. What's frustrating though is that the mat that I thought I was going to like, it ended up being porous, so I couldn't use it either, so that's a bit frustrating. Oh well. Because I just wanted to add a little bit of colour to the desk, because otherwise it looks very... The palette's very bland after a while. It means basically the thumbnails look really suckful. The other problem is that the weave does suck up a moderate amount of the bandwidth. So essentially I want a colourful, opaque, weave embedded silicon mat. Not asking for too much, am I? But it seems all the opaque, colourful ones, none of them have weave in them, so they're no good. Oh, it's so boring putting MacBooks back together. So very, very boring. But you gotta do it. You gotta do it. And of course, these ones aren't even the worst ones. Like you get these newer machines and it's like, oh my goodness. Seems like for every generation that Apple moves ahead, they add even more obscure screws and difficulty in disassembly. To be fair, the M1 2337 and the 2338, they're not too bad. But the Pro series is a nightmare. And unfortunately, the new Airs aren't really that great because, sure, you can get the board out comparatively quick, but then you've got to peel off that metal shield, and that's a pain. The other thing is with the new Airs, the fact that they're using very shallow T4 screws, it's just a major pain. Hey Jim, welcome. We're almost done here and we can actually get on with what I'm planning to do. So I just didn't want to leave this lying around in pieces. I've already got enough machines that are lying around in pieces. And you think you're going to remember what they're for or where they're from or anything like that, but you don't. 48 hours later, you may as well be Gandalf in the Mines of Moria. Which is why when jobs come in here, they get stickered to hell. Like I print out at least 4 ID stickers for every job. So 3 of them go on the machine itself. The bottom plate, the lid, and then the keyboard deck. So all of the 3 major components end up with a sticker on them. And that's just to start with. Of course then the screw container also gets a sticker. And if the board gets taken out for any period of time, it usually also gets written on. The only reason I don't put a sticker on the board is because there's not really a lot of places to put it. So it's kind of easier just to write the job number on the board. But yeah, putting ID codes on all of the parts is pretty much essential. Otherwise, you will one day get a situation where you're looking at something and you're going, uh-oh, I don't know who this belongs to. Hey, Killer B360, welcome. From Rossman's, huh? Been a while. Which Discord was that one? Because, I don't know, I can't remember which one got hijacked and became, or was Rossman's and became hijacked and turned into something else. I forget which one that was. Yeah, I'm sorry about the channel split, by the way. It obviously has caused some issues. I might have to re-release a new video on the main channel just to remind people, because I did put a video out to say, hey, I've changed. But it seems like that, thanks to YouTube, that didn't really go anywhere. Okay, let's just make sure this thing boots. Yeah, I don't know what went down with the politics of the Rossman Discord. I don't really care, to be honest. Yeah, of course you can, Killer. That's no problem. Whoa, I have got almost no brightness at all. Oh, that's better. Wow. So, and no charging. Let me guess. Let me guess that those ports are filthy little ports. No, they're pristine. Damn, there goes that theory. Yeah, absolutely. Advertise around. Go crazy. Let's see what our current's doing here. Yeah, let's have a look. Okay, it's stepping up. It's jumping all over the place, but it is stepping up. This machine has had problems with the battery. It will just sort of randomly stop running, and yeah, this is why I won't sell a lot of these machines. They're good for me. They're fine for me. I'm willing to tolerate their idiosyncrasies, but you can't sell it to people like this. All Things Repair Discord, that's the one, yeah. Q, since when have you been old? I'm not even old yet, and you can't be old if I'm not old. You cannot post a link, Kenny. What? Cannot post the link to I thought Killer was asking if he can post a link to this video to Discord as opposed to posting the Discord link to here. I don't know. Anyway, with Discord, it is a little bit confusing, but yeah, if you're used to IRC, you can sort of make the migration. It's just a bit confusing. Um, I personally still like IRC, but I gotta admit, having the photos and things like that can be useful in Discord. Probably got you flagged. Well, you wouldn't be flagged on here. I'm not doing anything like that here. One of the things I tend to have a very hands-off approach to far too many things, I think. Alright, so this is been a long time since I've booted this one actually, because I've moved over to the 2442. But after seeing the mischief that we had last night with trying to get the lifeboat connector running, I may have to keep this one around. It banned the comment automatically. Oh, okay, so that'll be YouTube. It'll be because, yeah, it'll be because there's no links by standard people permittable. Sorry. So how are we going with charging? Yeah, this is okay. So this is the trouble. After a while, you start getting a lot of machines just floating around in your workshop, like 1466s, 1502s, 1706s. You just start getting this accumulation of a lot of machines that you don't really sell, you can't sell, but you don't use either. But you also won't use as parts. And so you get this build up of, I don't know, machines, and you're sort of locked in this state of uncertainty as to what you're going to do with them. Like I said, I can't really sell them, because I can guarantee you if I sell them, it's going to be a nightmare. People are going to be like, oh, this isn't working properly. It's like, oh, since I bought it, it's done this, it does this, it's okay. But I was just wondering if you knew what was going on. And you know, it's their subtle way of saying, I can't believe it's not frickin' working properly after the money I paid for that machine. I want you to give me the thing for free, or come over here and fix it for free. So I can't live with that crap. Alright, finally, now we can, what have we been going for 20 minutes here? My god, this is like a Joey does tech stream where the first 30 minutes is all about just saying hello to everybody and getting the subs and things like that. It's actually not a bad idea having a fixed period of time at the start of a stream. It lets everybody get in and, you know, catch up before the main part starts. I'm just not very organized like that. Okay, let's clean this top. It's amazing how much gunk just simply ends up on there. It's not like you've been hauling dirt on top of this or anything. It just magically gets dirty. It's best just to sell motherboards and swap replacement. Yeah, things like that. You part it out. I agree. Grandpa stream. Good on you, Pedro. I'm gonna have to find a way of getting you back for that. Jerk. Let's see. Alright, okay, this one's got a lot of flux on it. It's making me crap my pants already. I don't like lots of flux on these boards, Jason. Always makes me worry about what I'm going to be dealing with and what I'm going to miss. Okay, I can already see there's one cable tucked away in there, so I think I might just take the whole thing out. Very common for that cable to get snagged under there. And there's all this flux over here, like I said, gives me the heebie-jeebies. That's why on my website I try to encourage people, the customers, to send it to me first. because your first repair is usually the one that has the highest chance of success. Or someone else gets their filthy mittens on it and ruins things. What's this? Use cat hair as a jump wire? Well, that'd be a fine wire. Okay, so interesting. One of the names is exposed. Charge and drive access. Oh god, drive access. So we could end up with PCH fault. Okay. Let's see. Well, that's a good start. We've got absolutely diddly squat on that port. It's a fine start. 5 volts on that port. Okay, is there something jammed in there? Diddly squat. With diddly squat, that means it's probably a CC1, CC2 line issue. Reminds me I need to draw a diagram explaining to people why it is that with my USB-C meter you have to find the proper pairing. Okay, 50, something's trying there. Alright, so we've got a problem with probably one, and naturally, are they underfilled? No, they're not underfilled. Yeah, I need to do a diagram explaining to people why it is that you have to find the right combination with my USB-C meter. It's because even though I take the CC lines through and all the other data lines, when you flip the cable, then it causes a mismatch between the CCs and the others. Okay, so it's this one here, which I'm not entirely sure which one it is. We'll have a look. We've finished building the tree house. You mean the cat house? Basically, it is structurally finished, and it just simply needs to be painted and kitted out. Oh, Jesus. I mean, oh dear. There's a diode there that looks smashed. Oh, come on, give me a better access here. Out of focus. Everything looks a bit disastrous here. Yeah, it's a fair whack of flux. I really hate it when this is done. Okay, there's a big chunk out of that 3215. And it looks... yeah, okay, I can see what's going on here. This sucker isn't even on properly. Look at that, there's... where are your balls, buddy? You have no balls. The balls you had, they are not there. You are missing your balls. Yeah, that'll explain that. God damn it. This is what I'm talking about. This is why I want first access on the machines. Well, why anyone does, really. Because then you deal with this crap. I mean, you don't deal with that crap. Alright, let's go. I mean, who the hell puts a 3215 back on without its balls? And all this flux, I mean, come on. What was this, a bukkake party? Smells awful nasty. But no, what? That was barely even on. And we can see there's been some digging damage. Oh my goodness. Alright. Who did this? Really? Call yourself a tech when you do that. On the upside, at least all the pads do seem to be there. But I see might have to do some covering with UV stuff. Marcus guy got roasted in his comments on his video. Marcus? Which video are we talking about, Pedro? I feel like I'm completely out of the loop of whatever the hell's going on. Marcus sounds... Is he one of the Futo guys? Oh, he's the... Yeah, I know the guy. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't watch Lewis's videos anymore, really. Nothing against Lewis or anything, it's just that I'm not really into the political sphere of it much. I simply don't have the time or the money to be focusing on the political sphere of it. I mean, I do what I can where I can, in terms of maintaining access to, free access to things. But there ain't enough time in the day otherwise. And it's all well and good if you're being paid to be political, that's great. But I'm not going to sit down and watch 30 minutes worth of ranting. I was having to fill up my alcohol container. Yeah, like I said, I just don't have the time. I barely get enough time to see my wife. So obviously I'm prioritizing. Ah, what the fuck just got in my eye? Sorry, swearing, I apologize. Well, what the hell happened down here? And you can tell by the coloration of these parts that it has been baked. And there's probably parts missing there. So what are we dealing with? A 928. Let's go see if I've got another 928 board. I want to compare before I go any further. Ah, 928, very first board on the deck. Good job. Alright, in this case we're good. Cues, I get them from Element 14 or Farnell, but yeah, generally they're just known as like, solution bottles or something like that. Try and decide whether I need to UV cure between these pads. I think I will, just give it a little bit, just for protection. Do, 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 do. It's really not going to take a lot. Notable new equipment additions. Nothing really that I could think of. I mean, yeah, there was the hot plate, and then there was the sorting out of the compass. That's pretty much about it. That should suffice. Now, where's my... Oh, there it is. We'll wait for that for a minute. But yeah, these bottles you're referring to, yeah, they're just ESD safe solution bottles or whatever. But yeah, I got mine from Element 14, Farnell. And of course these are pretty standard too. I don't use these as much. This is mostly just here for so that I can, do swabs. But beyond that, I don't use it much. I'm actually at the situation where I'm trying to decide what to do with my whopping great big ultrasonic cleaner. Because I very rarely use it now, because ever since we've moved to this sort of era of logic boards, I found that... Sorry guys, something's in my... I found that ultrasonicon tends to create more issues than it fixes at this point. Or at least it has a comparatively higher risk compared to, say, the days of 1466s, 1502s and things like that. Now it could just be bad luck on my behalf, but I'm basically at the point where I don't want to create more risks than I have to. Alright, now let's see if I can not botch this up. Thank you, Pedro. Knew you'd be able to do it. And on the topic of disappointing things in life, I've discovered that Element 14 no longer basically runs in Australia anymore. Everything they ship comes from overseas now. And that really ticked me off, because the other day I ordered some power bricks and I picked the wrong ones. They didn't come with the adapters. They didn't come with the international adapters. You have to buy the international adapters separately. And I was like, that's a nuisance. So I requested to return them, because they're still in factory packaging and everything. I hadn't opened them up or anything like that. And they go, yeah, here you go. Here's the return. And it's a UK return address. And I was like, what? So what gives here? I said, I bought from Element 14 Australia. I said, I shouldn't have to by law. Consumer rights says that I can return it domestically. And they're like, we don't operate a warehouse in Australia anymore. And I was like, bloody hell. I've been using Farnell Element 14 for, it's got to be close to 20 years now. So that was a real blow to see them close up shop that way. So most likely now I will probably operate with DigiKey or Mouser, since they usually have better stock options and faster freight, because Farnell's now using DHL, or is it UPS? Anyway, DHL I think it is, to send stuff, and that takes forever to get here in Australia for where I am. What is a pine sill? Oh yeah, RS. I forgot about RS. I've used RS on and off for a long time, but I typically found them to be a lot pricier than what I'm willing to tolerate. I will check their site for some things. But far too often they're ridiculously priced. Oh, the iron, right, yes. Alright, there we go. We've got our masking back, so I'm happy enough with that. Now we just need a 3215, and hopefully that side of things will be solved. Still can't believe that. You watch, it's probably botched up elsewhere too. I'm still perfectly happy with my Hacko gear. I have no compelling reason to change at this point. One thing I did notice though is that the price of Hacko gear domestically is starting to run up there with where JBC is, so if I do have to do a upheaval or change, then JBC might all of a sudden become the choice. It's kind of sad that it's happening that way, and I don't know who's driving the price increase. I don't know whether it's Hacko or whether it's just domestic, the domestic resellers. Because I would not, under normal circumstances, value the Hacko gear up with JBC. Yeah, I mean, they're both good. I mean, Hacko is good, but it's not the JBC quality good. So I think you could, as we say often here in Australia, tell them you're dreaming. Tell them they're dreaming. No, you're not going to get that sort of price. Yeah, that's far too much flux there. And now that's far too many threads. It's almost like Hacko, if it is head office, if it is the company itself pushing up the MSRP, it's almost like they're believing their BS a little bit too much. And that's a bad sign. Particularly when you see that Aten is actually starting to produce some decent soldering stations now. And so we could end up in a situation where Aten essentially displaces the likes of Hacko pretty quickly. And then Hacko is going to be crying. They're going, oh, what happened to our loyal users? And it's like, well, for one, never rely on loyalty. That's a train that you're never going to catch. I mean, a good example is with the Hacko hot air stations. I mean, 10 years ago, sure, you got yourself a Hacko hot air station, that was fine. But then Quick came along and pretty much just simply ripped the whole market away from Hacko. And Hacko responds by bringing out $1,000 piece of junk that barely works and is impossible to use. So I don't know who's heading up their department for marketing and product design, but they're not doing a good job. Maybe they're relying on US military contracts. Okay, we're sitting skew here, unfortunately. I don't think I've got enough flux down. I'm just going to put some more flux in there because it's sitting skew. there we go. That's better. How much heat do you use for these VGA chips? It really is subjective to what you're doing, what board it is. More often than not, it's the board, the PCB, that dictates it. Like, I wouldn't use the same amount of heat on a Nintendo Switch or anything like that, even for the same chip. It also depends where on the board, because that can make a difference as well. How to tell what you choose? I guess what you got to do is you pick some sort of fairly sort of standard thing. Like in this case, I'm using 450 and 50% air. And you can sort of look or judge by the cues that you're being given off visually as to whether you've got too much air, too much heat, things like that. It really is an experience thing. So you sort of basically take a blind stab in the dark, roughly where you think you're going to start from, and then depending on your personal technique you use with terms of how far you hold the wand away, there's so many factors in it. It's very difficult to give numbers on it. So you sort of pick a roundabout where you think it might be, and then you fine-tune that according to your personal experience. Alright. Let's see if things are any better now. Yeah, a lot of it comes down to experience. Oh, seriously, you're still... Oh, what? 2 volts and then spacked out? Have a look at that. Wow, that's a massive short... Something's massively shorted there. I don't know if you can see that, but that's the current graph right there. And 6 amps. What the hell? 6 amps straight into there. That's terrifying. That's like diode, dead diode type business. That one up there. Oh wow, they even cooked that. That's a massive short. Alright. Let's have a look at PP bus. PP bus is okay. $144. That's a little low on that fuse there. There's our winner. Okay. That could be suspect. See how it's drifted right over? We could have a bridging of the pad over the... Like, there's only a small gap between them. And so it could be... The large pad on here could be bridging over. That... Given that there's damage on that, I would consider as a possible. So I think we'll take this off first. This is a protection diode. Likewise that is. And we will see how we go. But there, that's a colossally big short. 6 amp, I mean, yeah. And that's why we only saw 2 volts come out before it gave up. Okay, let's go. I don't think the chip I installed will be dead. I think that the short is before it even gets to the chip. At 6 amps, if it was the chip, or the chip was involved, then we probably would have seen a burn mark in the chip. Okay, what worries me here is this is there we go, that's better. I was about to say it's resisting my attempts to get it off, which means it could have been welded, but that's not the case. Okay, that was the short. That's ground, that's what it... Yeah, that's more like it. So it was that diode, or TVS diode, protection diode. It did its job. And we'll just take it from here. Might have to change the fuse as well. Sometimes when you get big hits like that, the fuse can partially blow. I know it sounds stupid, but they do. And when they partially blow, they'll pick up a resistance of a couple of ohms. And you won't notice it until your machine decides to load up the rail. And then all of a sudden you get a voltage drop and the machine drops out. What's the diode rated for? Not quite sure. I'll have to have a look at the schematic. So it's looking a bit like somebody might have put a bad power brick on this machine and the TVS diode did its job. Yeah, I'm just going to take that diode up, fuse. I don't trust it. Do you know the schematics of these boards like the back of your hand? No, no, I don't. Some people do have an incredible ability to remember every aspect of boards and schematics and things like that. I don't. I'm very much have to rely on going back to the board views or the schematics to remember things. Okay, it looks really shonky, but it'll be okay. It's just a bit brown and ugly because there's been flux burning on it. Jim, in this case, this is one from Jason, from Unofficial Mac. So I'm sort of picking up some of his overload. But I don't know who actually is getting into these boards before he sends them to me. So I don't know whether he gets them like this. Often what does happen with B2Bs is I will usually start out with excellent jobs from them where they haven't been touched, and the faults that are actually fixable, things like that. And then what will happen is at some point they will hire somebody, usually a younger person, and they will start tackling the boards. And I'll still get roughly the same number of machines being sent to me, but the quality of the jobs starts going downhill badly. And that's because they're essentially sending me all the ones that they weren't able to fix after they butchered them. Draco, I no longer have my Discord server, sorry. I closed it up last night. I'm done with it. But I do hang out with other Discord servers. So I am on Discord, I'm just not running my own Discord server. It's not for me at the moment. Yeah, I'll do. But like, I'm on the Rossman, or the ex-Rossman one, I'm on Joey's, I'm on Adamant IT's. Yeah, I'm around. There really just wasn't enough people there to make it work properly for me. And now I realise that people say, well, you know, if you don't have your server, then no one's going to be there, obviously. It's like, yeah, I agree, but the numbers just aren't there yet. Like, maybe when I get to 50 or 100,000 subs, it'll be worth looking at again, but for now it's not. Oh, look at that. That looks more normal. We've got 20 volts. Although we just had a 1.8 amp peak there. Okay, 1.6. Okay, this looks good. Yeah, this looks good. So we've got a 1707 here. Drive access is the next problem. Oh, great. So we may have fixed it, but the PCH is still dead. Let's put it into a 1707 Shaz and see what we get. Yes, 2179, 2179, 2179, rank 2, 2159, 2251, 2141. 2141, 1707. Wow, the very bottom one. Don't get them too often. Tell by the dust build up that it hasn't been used really a lot. It is still being promoted on my YouTube page. Oh, well, I'll just have to go fix that up. I removed it from my website, but oh no, how the oh, what the frick? That sucks. I have no idea how, but the battery data flex has been torn clean off that. That really sucks. I don't seem to recall that being the case the last time, but and it certainly didn't get ripped off then. Yeah, nothing fell out. I'll fix it up on YouTube later. Alright, let's see if this thing can boot without the battery. I can't remember if they can or not. See, that's another thing. You know, there are a lot of people out there who can remember which boards are bootable with or without battery, things like that. All those sort of details that can snare you up. Which boards auto start versus which ones don't. Anyway. So here's hoping this will run without a battery. Otherwise, I will have to come up with something. I might be able to find a dead battery and migrate that across. Yeah, that's annoying. Alright, so here we go. Ow, ripped out my hair. $1.2 amps. We don't have a bong. That's kind of weird. We do have fan spin. I'm going to guess it's going to come up for flashing folder. Oh, nope. It's coming up for Navel logo. Okay, that's booting. Alright. Yep, that's fine. Okay. I don't know about what it means then with drive access, but it is working. I don't know whether we should ultrasonic. The flux on everything, the flux on this one is quite bad to the point where it might need to have a wash, but grievously disinclined. Yeah, I'll see if I can find one of the batteries with a suitable flex on it. Shut down. Because unfortunately these ones, the flex is integrated into the back of the BMS board. Did that bong and I just not hear it? Wouldn't surprise me. I can't hear I can't hear squat. That's why I do not have a voice call number on my website. Because I cannot hear on the phone. Even when I really want to. There was a place I had to call the other day to find out about some stuff. I couldn't hear them. I couldn't. I tried so hard, and it just didn't make sense. So I said, I'll email you, and I did, and now I don't get an email back from them. And that's the frustrating thing is, you think, come on, yeah, everybody can use email. Okay, not everybody, but most people have email. So answer it, please. Okay, see what we can do about this BMS. It did after I said no bong. Okay, Well, I did not hear that, but thank you for letting me know. Okay, it's a T5 in this case. It's frustrating too because I needed to get them to sort the stuff out. This is going to be hilarious. Oh no, it's an integrated. Oh, that's just BS. You gotta be crapping me. You gotta replace the whole battery because they are using. I mean, there's probably 5 lines in there? What a load of BS. Oh, Q's, you're running into issues with JBC? Like I said, it's Anton seems to be really pushing hard with their new gear. So I'm kind of curious to see what they come up with. Is this actually... Come on, surely it's... Okay, so it's like... Where the hell are they sending this then? Discovery time, people. Find out what makes this tick. Because really, the only signals on that line are sysdetect, which should just go straight to the BMS, and SDA, SDL, the I2C lines. That's essentially it. So I don't know why they're sending the cable all over the rest of the board, the battery. I mean, maybe, did we just rip something then? Nah, no one cares. Jim, sorry to hear that, mate. Usual sort of frustrating scenario, I guess. Forever management. That's got to be like just two. That's just got to be power line, positive, negative, nothing more. No, because you can see the individual traces going on here. Sorry. So what do you reckon? We should have a shot? Or we're just shooting ourselves in the foot here? So I don't even know if I have a spare of this. I'll see. I'll check my battery stacks. But I don't think I do. God, I'm an idiot. I just realized something. I didn't need my test chassis at all. We already got one. This thing came in a test chassis. I'm an idiot. Yeah, this is the one it came in. I don't know what I was thinking. Still, it's interesting to know that I've got that problem with the 17.0, my test chassis, so I'm going to have to be on the lookout either for, maybe someone will come in and they'll need a battery replacement and I'll be able to supplant the BMS board or something like that. We do have a second board that we got to test in here, so as long as this shows that it's charging, then we'll move on to the next one. We'll have to take this back out. I need a screw for that. Let's see, 1706 should... Oh wow, no screw for that. Wow. Shocked. $1707. I think I'm more shocked by the fact that they go to the expense and difficulty of producing a flex that ties into the rest of the battery pack rather than just having a connector on the back there for a short flex rather than having this, I don't know. Clearly, cost efficiencies are involved. I don't know. You can't always tell what drives their choices. Okay, 1.892. Okay, there's the bong. I heard it that time. Probably because I was listening for it. 4 amps, that's normal sort of start. We're at 78% on this battery. We've got more Jims. Hey, Jim. That's cool because at least I can say hi, Jim, and I cover most people. Okay, so I'm sitting at 78. I just want to see that it pushes up to 79. But at 4 amps, it should be. The only weird thing is that usually when you get around about the 80% mark, that charge rate should taper off. We'll see how we go. Come on. Bring me the 79. On-screen meter not working. Oh, yeah. Yeah, interesting. USB-C. That's weird. There we go. That was weird. It's particularly weird because I actually have modified the software in a way that... Oh, I see what's done it. It's okay, I understand now. Oh no, no, I was wrong. Anyway, I see... Alright, there goes the drop and the shutdown. What happened there? Did you just... Did you just shut yourself down completely and die? It's 1.7 amps is about what I was expecting for the charge. Oh, you're not coming back up? Power button? What the hell? So it comes up a little bit and then it just craps its pants and goes back down. Could it be the batteries in a really bad condition? Well, that's really not coming back up. Somewhat concerning. Should not be doing that. But no trackpad click. Let's put the chipmunk in. Doesn't even... What is this machine doing? Okay, now we've... Wow, that chipmunk isn't even running. What's going on there? Okay, there it is. Yeah, I went to Macbook, alright. I have a feeling now it's going to go into the recovery boot where it says, this machine was shut down unexpectedly, so we're going to... either that or it's having problems with its SSD. This is also where it's a major pain dealing with pre-work machines, particularly when they're messy pre-work like this, is that you can fix, say, the key problem, in this case, the USB-C chip just sitting there and then the TVS diode blown. But then you get some weird crap going on like this, and the worst thing is that you've invested your time and parts into it. You're not going to get your money for the completed job because you can't make it run fully properly, and you don't know whether it's was the original fault. Like right now, this thing is, I don't even know what this thing's doing. It's like stuck in a weird state. The trackpad's still not running. I'm almost half wondering whether this chassis is dodgy. Oh, there we are. There's the... You couldn't boot in because you've forgotten your password. I haven't forgotten my password, you dolt. So yeah, that is the risk when you take on prior repairs, is that you may be able to fix what was actually the key issue, but you don't know whether you're going to be able to fix what they botched up trying to get to the key issue. Okay, this... Okay. Okay, we're up at 82, so it's definitely charging. But trackpad works, keyboard works. Great. No idea what that password is. Great. I can hear the fans running crazy too. So there's still something to miss. I did try 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll try 1, 2, 3, 4. Sometimes the touch bars show up on login, on the login screen. Other times they do not. I'm not sure where that actually is. I'm not sure where that's picked. Yeah, quadruple one's another one I use. It's not 1, 2, 3, 4 either. No. And there's no hint option on this one. Great. Great. The one that I actually need the password for and I don't have it. Ah, that's annoying. So, I mean, the board seems to work, but I don't know whether there's a problem with the test chassis. It's very strange that it just dropped out, like, died. I'll try to pull the power. Okay, it's maintaining charge. Yeah, it's holding. The other thing is I'm not getting an indicator on the screen to say that it recognizes that it's charging. Like you don't get the lightning bolt through the battery, but again, that can be customized, I believe. We're also not getting a bing bong or anything like that when we plug in. Again, customizable probably. Yeah, I usually just use 1111 and then on the hint I'll put in 4 ones. It's going to lock me out now. Oh, well, it decided it was fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 this time. Magic. I could have sworn I typed that in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 before and it didn't work. Might need a pre-RAM reset. Oh, Miles, but I mean 1534s, they just do that, don't they? They just spontaneously die and they go, no, I'm not going to work anymore. Beep. And then you power them up again. They're like, oh yeah, I'm fine to work today. Yes. And 5 minutes later, no, change my mind. I'm going down. So, I hate those machines. Pedro loves them, by the way. If you have any 1534s, just send them to him. He'll fix them up for $50. He's got a knack with the CPU or something. You can fix them up for $50. Oh, did you just... Oh, okay, you just display switched. Okay. It did that thing where it just blanks out the screen completely and you're like, oh, it's dead. What the hell? It's just gone back to the login screen. So maybe it wasn't the right password. Or maybe this is the issue they're talking about with the SSD. In which case, if that is it, that's probably a file system corruption issue, or maybe a NAND, a part of the NAND is failing. So back it up and trash it. Okay, now we're in. This is very strange, very strange. It could have also made... The other possibility is sometimes they die in the middle of an update. Surprisingly more common than you'd expect. Terrifyingly. But I'm pretty sure I can hear those fans going crazy still, so we've got a sensor issue, but that could be the chassis. Miles being 1708, yeah. Let's see, disk, utility. This thing is definitely complaining about something. Oh, and I've got the lightning icon in the battery now. And it's doing indexing? What the hell? So they've got a 500 gig system, 200 is used. Yeah, I'm just running a verify on the file system. Maybe a stupid thing to do, I don't know. Okay, there's a few bad blocks popping up. Well, not bad blocks, but a few blocks in the file system that have got bad timestamps and things like that. Which often can happen when it shuts down in the middle of stuff, loses all its battery power, then comes back. And then, like, your journaling file system log makes no sense at all. Yeah, it's going through some stuff. It's always a bit risky because if you do have a failing section on the NAND that's causing the file system corruption, then doing this sort of thing actually can make things worse. But at least this is, being a 1707, we can get the data off using the lifeboat. Yeah. I hope it's not trying to connect to the internet. Once that one's sorted out, we do have another one. Oh, this is the classic touch bar security issue. Yucky. Probably not necessarily fixable. Okay, alright, they've finished and that's completed. Did do some cleanups, but I don't know if it was... Performance is terrible though. Just a shame the lifeboat tool really only applies to like the two machines, really. I do wish they had made it that you could still do it like the BitLocker system, as much as I hate BitLocker, by the way. I hate the fact that BitLocker is being shoved onto every low-end consumer laptop almost, to the point, yeah, there's just so many people now losing their data and they've got no idea where their BitLocker key is. They check on their Microsoft account, it's not there. They just lose all the data. So I didn't get it. It's another obscure marketing decision, I guess. But yeah, it would have been nice if MacBooks took a similar sort of concept where you can still get the data off. I mean, we can often get the data off, yeah, if we have to change the T2 and things like that to get a working system. Or if you pull the NANDs and drag the data off directly. And then you should be able to decode it offline if you know what your key is. You can't even do that. Yeah, forgot to set the battery. A good thing it's an original battery. It will actually honor not sending power through. Well, that's what I mean, Pro Engineer. That's the problem, is that the key isn't being saved properly on a lot of these consumer devices. Like, you know, just your $400 consumer laptop. And these people are being left high and dry. There's, like, yeah, I mean, it's kind of like telling people, well, you should have had backups. And it's like, yeah, that's technically correct, but you kind of took away what simple options there were in the first place by doing the BitLocker thing. I get it for business systems. I still feel like it should be a opt-in as opposed to by default. To me, it just stinks of security theatre. Like, I had a person today really concerned about what antivirus to pick for, you know, because their existing one was up for renewal. And so these days, antivirus software doesn't really offer that much above and beyond what Windows now offers with Defender. I mean, yeah, there's some things, but for the most part, it just sits there, sucks the life out of your machine, and then drains the money out of your account every year and makes it really difficult for you to stop the subscription. So antivirus vendors aren't really providing a lot of value add anymore. Instead, they just sort of have lots of obscure statements about what they're doing. Yeah, it's hard to find the value. It's hard to find the $90 value, so to speak. Ah, great, I just snared that cable. So I said to him, I said, look, you know, you really don't really need it. But if you do, then I made a suggestion of one brand I seem to have reasonable success with. Well, that's just it, Pro, but you gotta, because people are so accustomed to having to have antivirus from like the days of, 95, 98, XP, all that sort of stuff, they still sort of want that third party option. But yeah, I agree with you. It's they don't need it. Defender does a perfectly good job. And I said to him, in reality, when you install antivirus software, you're actually increasing your chance of attack now, because we're getting antivirus software being attacked directly. And so you've got this greater surface area of attack now. Okay, so this is touch bar fault. I mean, really, that's about the only reason for pushing antivirus anymore these days, is if you're making money out of it. In terms of the end user security, it doesn't really change much. What the? What did I just hear then? I heard something go bonk, but I felt it through the chassis. What is going on with these boards? I'm really getting ticked off these boards already. Okay, we're alive. Yeah, some kind of pump. I can't smell anything, so I don't think it's a component that went pop. It was more like a physical. It might have. Oh, it might have actually been a USB-C port popping off. No, that's fine. Oh my god! I just noticed this doesn't have the bridge. The bridge might have been taken off simply to allow them to get the data off. But yeah, circling all the way back, it'd be nice if there was that kind of stored key option for recovering data out of Macbooks. Oh, Darko, we worked out it is just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in this case, but it was just a little weird. It didn't work the first time around, and then it logged itself back out after that, and then finally on the third time around, it went in. Okay, Killer, thanks for dropping in, by the way. Alright, now we've got nothing on display. Was it display port that... It was the display port that popped out. There, look at that. That's what went bonk. Bonk goes the display port. Yeah. Okay, let's try that again, shall we? And hopefully this time it won't go bonk. Right. 56th time is a charm. What's up with all the stickers on the board? Geez, that was loud. Stickers on the board? Oh yeah, that's just so that's for... What the hell? Let's just boot it straight in. No. God damn it. Great. Another one that we don't know the password of. Well, at least it's charging. Touch bar security. It's actually really interesting that it hasn't come up complaining about the touch bar security, because typically if you have a touch bar security issue, it won't let you get to the login. It'll come up and say, there's a security issue, you need to fix it. So I don't know what's going on here. Basically, it looks like it's working, but I need to log in to find out. Looks like you have a star field on display. What? What do you mean by star field? Oh, on the display, you mean all the dust. Yeah, sadly true. I intentionally do not clean people's screens. Cleaning people's screens is one of those things that you think is being helpful and nice, but it turns out it just opens up the door for people to scream at you. It's silly, but it's true. Because either A, you're going to scratch it while you're cleaning it, or B, you don't scratch it, but by removing all the grime and gunk, you reveal a pre-existing scratch that now that it's all clean, people can see and can't unsee, and because they didn't recognize it there before, they're going to blame you. Yeah, exactly. The scratches weren't there before. So don't clean people's screens. If you do, the only time you could ever really do that, the only time I've ever done it, is if I clean just the middle portion to see if I can see the Apple logo. And just, yeah, don't do any more. Pedro, you're a crazy wild man for doing that. I give you props for being insane and taking that risk. It's not something I'm going to do. I've been burned once, and that's enough for me. You can't help yourself? Well, you probably will be able to after you've been hit a couple of times by, say someone decides that their 2442 was perfectly fine before and now you've scratched it. You're going to cough up the $1,000 for that screen? I don't think so. Alright, Jason is obviously off and about, enjoying his life, probably riding his fancy mountain bike or something like that, having a good time, being a proper human being, spending time with his family and wife. Meanwhile, I'm holding one of his grenades here, it seems. Oh well. Well, really, in that case, I'm done then. So we have fixed the other one, at least to the point where it boots, it charges. I'm a little uncertain about the quality of the board, and I really don't want to wash it. But, we got it running, so that's got to count for something. As for reliably running, I don't know. Maybe I'll have another look at it, but all that existing smeared flux on there is like, yuck. It's like, we fixed the main problem, the 3215 and the TVS diode. I think at this point then it's sort of the risk has to go back to whoever handled the board before. Yeah. Anyway. Alright, well, listen, I'm out of here. Thank you all for watching. Thanks for dropping in. At least we got some kind of repair work done. And I am probably going to try and clean up my workshop because it's a complete crap fest again. If I dare not show you what it looks like, partly because I don't want to move the camera, partly because I haven't got the portable USB camera running, and also because it's so bad that even I'm ashamed to look at it. So, alright, thank you all. We'll see you all next time. You have a good time in the meantime. I'll catch you next time. See ya.